Murder is rampant in South Africa, but every so often one person can kill enough people to captivate the entire country. Now recently in 𝗶𝗴𝗀𝗃, a number of women fell under the charms of a man they met on Facebook. They were later found buried in his yard. 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 examines the makings of a serial killer.
In the night, we wake up for a cigarette. We saw some guy entering inside the pub. We heard a guy shouting, "Ah!" Then he said, "No." Then after he said no, he stopped shouting. He was dead.
There are 10,000 homeless people living in the streets of our nation's capital, Pretoria. They are the most vulnerable and forgotten members of our society. But when someone started killing them, they could be ignored no longer. The first body was found in a veld a few kilometers from here on the 1st of June. Then 2 more bodies were discovered right here at 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗆𝘆 about a week later. Following that, 3 more people were killed, all homeless men attacked while sleeping at night. Given Masikela is a homeless man living on the streets of Pretoria, he witnessed one of the killings that took place in 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗆𝘆.
In the night, we wake up for a cigarette. We saw some guy entering inside the pub. We didn't saw him nicely. We just saw a tough guy, tall guy, black guy, wearing a hood and his back. We saw that guy now hitting him with something, finishing him. He was using a panga to kill him, something like that.
𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 is an affluent suburb surrounded by university campuses and picturesque parks. Its tranquility was shattered with the news of an alleged serial killer preying on the homeless. 𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗔 is a journalist from News 24 who has reported extensively on the killings.
All 5 murders happened within 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃. All men were homeless. They were all attacked at night, and it appears that the victims were either stabbed or there were signs of blood force trauma or even a combination of the two.
Apart from the 5 fatalities in June, it appears the attacks may have begun even earlier. Themba, not his real name, did not want his identity to be revealed, scared that his family would discover he is homeless. But this fear is nothing compared to the terror he experienced when he was attacked in February this year.
I'm working as a car guard. So I went to Loftus, I parked the cars, and sleep there with a small blanket. That guy came to attack me. He stabbed me 5 times. It's just I wake up, I feel that, oh, I'm getting wet. What's going on? It's not raining. So when I wake up, that guy wanted to stab me again, and I put my feet like, how can someone stab you like 3 times, 4 times without hearing anything? That guy is dangerous, bro.
The killer has been dubbed the nocturnal prowler. He is the latest in a long line of South African serial killers. With over 160 documented cases, SA ranks 3rd in the world for the most serial killers behind the US and England. Many have been given macabre nicknames like Jimmy Maketa, the Jesus Killer, convicted in 2005 of the ritualistic rape and murder of 16 farm laborers. Then there's Norman Afzal Simons, the Station Strangler, a teacher imprisoned in 1995 for sexually assaulting and murdering 22 children. And SA's most notorious serial killer, Moses Sithole, the ABC Killer, who raped and murdered at least 38 victims. These killers and hundreds of others were brought to justice thanks to the forensic psychologists at the police's investigative psychological section, headed up by Brigadier Mandla Thusi.
It started early 90s with the Colonel Mickey Pretorius. She dealt with the Station Strangler case, which was successfully prosecuted. I think it's more than 140 cases that we've dealt with, and the success rate is 100%. Everybody here they are committed. They're working very hard to make sure that we succeed in everything that we do.
The unit's most recent case took them to 𝗵𝗴𝗀𝗃𝗃, where Julius Mdawe, the alleged Masoyi monster, was arrested this July for luring 4 women and a 15-year-old girl to their deaths using Facebook.
I can confirm we did arrest a male person. Upon the lengthy interview with the suspect, he actually pointed out the shallow grave. And indeed, we recovered the skeletons. Presently, the Victim Identification Center, they are busy to determine whether those skeletons are human, as well as to check the the age of those victims and gender as well.
Lieutenant Colonel 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝘀𝗶𝘆 has been at the IPS for 26 years. She has a unique insight into how profiling helps an investigation.
The profiling doesn't really help to catch the criminal, but it helps the investigating officer to focus his investigation. You think of a serial murderer in Pretoria, there will be so many possible suspects, but when you have a profile of the most likely type of person who could have committed this crime, then you can narrow down the suspects to get to the right suspect.
Gerard 𝗀𝗶𝗀𝗏 headed up the IPS for 14 years before he retired in 2016.
How common are serial murders in South Africa? We've heard reports saying that we're ranked 3rd in the world.
Because we have the investigative psychology section whose job it is to get involved in all known serial murder in South Africa, we have a singular DNA database, which means all of our DNA from rapes, murders, whatever crimes there are, get put onto one database, and then we get links and matches. Very few countries actually have that. Even in the United States, there's no national DNA database. And as a result of that, we have massive amount of links coming up, telling us about cases we might not even know are serial related. So perhaps our ability to recognize it makes it look that we have more than other countries, but other countries might not have accurate statistics at all.
If you compare South Africa to the USA, for example, they have different police forces where we only have one police force. That's one of the reasons why we are so successful in identifying serial offenders. We work nationwide, so we know of all the cases that happen in South Africa, and we get involved with all of them.
If I look at my career, I worked on 110 series. I speak to my colleagues in the US who do profiling. They might have worked on 1 or 2 in their whole career.
Gerard led the investigation of Richard Jabulani Nyauza, dubbed the Quarry murderer. He was sentenced to 16 life terms for a series of gruesome murders in 2002 and 2006. It was in this veld just off the N1 highway where he killed his victims.
We found 5 bodies in this particular area. And unfortunately, after those 5 cases, the cases went cold. There was a gap of about 4 years where nothing was happening. Then, at the start of 2006, we get contacted by Warrant Officer 𝗶𝗏𝗏 from a nearby police station saying he's had 2 bodies, very similar areas, all females. He thinks there might be a serial. We then thought this could be our same guy who, for some reason, was quiet for those years and started to act up again. And we then finally got permission to form a task team and to focus on these cases and try and solve them. So very much we're left with no external information, but we're basically focusing on the crime scene. DNA, of course, is going to be absolutely essential. And from January to September of 2006, before we caught the guy, he had then another 11 bodies, so 16 in total. And basically, he was leaving his 2006 bodies around this particular area where we were standing now. So again, a very close geographical area, all adult black females. So one of our advantages to a degree is that the serial murderers tend to prefer a particular area. And that's when we think there's a serial murderer active, we will then search that area regularly, looking for old bodies that we haven't discovered or new ones that pop up in between.
And just like the Quarry murderer, the nocturnal prowler's 5 victims were found within a 4-kilometer radius in 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗏𝗃. But why is he targeting the homeless?
In general, there's a psychological motive. So something within that individual has developed this urge to go out and target a certain victimology and kill them. Why homeless people per se? There must be some personal reason. It wouldn't be so simple as, well, they're easy victims to target. I don't think it'll be as simplistic as that. There must be a bit more of a personalized reason for choosing homeless people.
Following the discovery of the 5th body at a bus stop near UNISA on the 19th of June, a high-level task team was set up to investigate the murders.
Some of our investigators and myself assist the task force, so we give them guidance on how it's different from a normal single murder investigation, and then help put them in contact with the right people at forensics and get all the evidence at the right people.
A suspect accused of stabbing a homeless man in May was arrested soon after.
There has been an arrest made of a man who stands a charge of attempted murder for attacking a homeless man.
Do you think this could be the right man that the police have nabbed?
We haven't seen any reported murders in the area. But that being said, I also spoke to a profiler who said it's very possible that once this thing got publicity, that the murder may even go quiet for a while. The serial killer may go quiet, or he may go to a different area.
While the police say that the man they have in custody is not linked to the 5 murders, there have been no further attacks in the last month and the case remains unsolved. The killer has seemingly disappeared, and it remains to be seen if he will strike again or if the task force will be able to identify and apprehend the nocturnal prowler. Until then, Tshwane's homeless people continue to live in fear, not sure if tonight's sleep may be their last.
I don't know who is the killer. Maybe he's here watching me. Even everywhere where I'm sleeping, I'm thinking that maybe that guy is following me.
Why is this guy killing people? For what? We are not safe, because even us, maybe we are one of them who are going to die.